Hi everyone, this is Lauren with the Central Arkansas Library System. As you can see, today's program is for people who are looking to start a small business but aren't exactly sure how to calculate the initial startup costs. It is extremely important to calculate your business startup costs before you launch. The key to a successful small business, or any business really, is preparation. Before your business even opens its doors, you'll have bills to pay, and understanding your expenses will help you launch successfully. Calculating startup costs helps you estimate profits, figure out when you can expect to break even on costs and start making a profit, secure loans, attract investors, and save money with tax deductions. In this program, we're going to cover how to identify your startup expenses based on the type of business you're looking to start, how to estimate what they will cost, what a break-even point is, and how to calculate it, and then I'll be walking you through the steps of filling out a cost calculating sheet from the Small Business Administration. Most businesses fall into one of three categories: brick and mortar, online, and service providers. A brick and mortar small business could be something like opening a restaurant. An online business could be selling your products on sites like Etsy or solely through your own website. And lastly, a service small business could be something like starting a roofing or plumbing company. You'll face different startup expenses based on your business type. For example, a brick and mortar business might need to pay for things like renter's insurance and utility costs for their business's location, but the same doesn't apply to a solely online business if it's run out of someone's home. It might help to have a strong idea of which of the categories your small business would fall under, as that'll help you identify any potential startup costs you may have. There are common startup costs that you're likely to have no matter what. Look through this list and make sure to factor in any other expenses that are unique to your business. Some things on this list can be done at low or no cost if you do it yourself, and the library has some other great resources on how to do things like conduct market research and make your own website if you're interested. Let's go through an example expense sheet step by step. The first thing we want to make sure is that you're splitting your costs between monthly and the initial costs to factor in things like deposits. For office space, the made-up monthly rent is $500, but the initial cost is a $1,000 deposit. It is industry standard for most places to require a deposit of anywhere from the total of the first month's rent to 3 months' rent. This will vary place to place depending on the standards set by the building owner. Next, utilities like water, electricity, and Wi-Fi can be lumped together, and in order to get a good estimation for them, most utility companies can give you an estimate over the phone, or you can use the internet to see the average prices for utilities in your area. It is a good idea to slightly overestimate the costs for each of the expenses because it's better to have the money set aside and not need it than to need it for something and not have it. Insurance costs will widely vary depending on the type of insurance or insurances your business will need. For example, if you run an online business, shipping insurance is a good idea. Or, if you want to run a restaurant, you'll need business owner's policy insurance, which covers liability and your property. Inventory costs is another one that will vary significantly depending on your business idea, but it's a good idea to set aside a little more money for the initial costs so you can ensure that you'll have enough inventory for when you start, and then you can restock as many or as few times as you need to within the upcoming months. Marketing is one of those things that you can hire someone to do for you, or you can handle it yourself. Most marketing companies offer different packages, so the total cost will be different depending on the package you choose, or free if you choose to do it yourself. Lastly, it is highly recommended that you start your business with an accountant on hand. Small business taxes can be tricky, and a licensed accountant can help keep things in order for when tax season comes. Factoring in initial costs and monthly costs is important because it's likely that it'll take some time to see profit, and you want to make sure you'll have enough money either from savings or loans to pay all your bills until your business breaks even. The break-even point is the point at which total cost and total revenue are equal, meaning there is no loss or gain for your small business. In other words, you've reached the level of production at which the costs of production equals the revenues for a product. For any new business, this is an important calculation in your business plan. Potential investors in a business not only want to know the return to expect on their investments, but also the point at which they will realize this return. This is because some companies may take years before turning a profit, often losing money in the first few months or years before breaking even. This is the Startup Costs Worksheet from the Small Business Administration. It shows Joe's Pizza Place, which is a fictional business. However, the main thing that I like about this worksheet is that you can go through and edit each of the values as you need to for your own business. So, we'll come down here where it says first month's rent. Say your actual rent budget needs to be $1,600 instead of $1,800. You can go in and change that, not a problem. And then when we come down here in the total funds required, we see that it immediately calculates it for you, which is great because it means that there's no math involved on your end. As you go through, based on the information and estimates that you've made for your small business, you can edit and alter every single one of these categories based on your own needs, and it keeps that total funds required information up to date as soon as you make a change. I highly recommend using this worksheet to do. You can find that worksheet at sba.gov/startup cost worksheet, but I'll also link it in the description to make it a little easier. As for startup funding, it's a good idea to create a formal report of your expected startup costs. You want it in a format that's clear and easy to understand. Investors and lenders compare expected costs to projected revenue and determine the potential for your business to profit. Next month, on May 5th at 3:30 p.m. CST, there will be another program that is a part 2 to this one titled Funding Your Small Business. And in that one, I'm going to cover and go further into depth about how to gain funding for your startup costs based on the estimates you have gathered. As always, we at CALS thank you for watching this program, and if you have any questions, feel free to contact me at the email listed on the slide, and I'll do my best to help.